Welcome to our tutorial on Virasana and Suptavirasana. So this is Hero's Pose and Reclined Hero's Pose. So our first variation here, we're kneeling down, hips are back into the heels, tummy into the spine, slight lift of the chest, crown of the head, driving up towards the sky. So again, just in terms of looking at those base postures, Dandasana and Tadasana, we have that same alignment through the body. All we've done is just changed a little bit of the alignment of the, well, not the alignment of the legs, just the flexion of the knee there. So bringing all of those core elements to this posture as well. So in Hero's Pose. So we're going to move back now into suptavirasana. So supta meaning reclined or lying down. So I'm going to turn side on for you here. What we want to do is separate the heels at the back of the hips. And we want to squidgy the butt down in between the feet. Now, if this is not available to you, block is super handy here, because what happens is that, you know, if you've got particularly, if you've got serious knee issues here, it's probably a posture to avoid. But if you've just got a little bit of tightness in the knee and you want to open up a little bit in there, using the block and just coming to this place in the posture is a really beautiful place to start. And I've had a couple of knee reconstructions, and this posture wasn't always available to me, but through continued work and applied effort, tenacity and application, eventually I have good days and bad days of getting into this posture. So you can just work through it and work to honour your practice, work wherever you are in your body with your body today. So separated the heels out to the side of the hips. I'm going to remove this block for the purpose of this demonstration, and I'm taking the fingertips back. My fingertips are pointing towards my toes at the back of my hips. So now you might have your knees slightly apart here, and that's perfectly okay, because what we're going to do later in the posture is try and move those knees back together so that we're actually activating the inside of the thighs and drawing the legs back together. So we can start out with the legs parallel instead of squeezed together. So if this posture is comfortable for you, drop back onto the elbows and you can bring the hands to the soles of the feet. The next variation here, and you might like to stay here. This might be opening enough for you because you've got that little opening happening through the chest. You're going to lift the heart space high, and you've got that stretch happening through the quadriceps and through the knees. The next variation is the drop of the head coming towards the floor. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, you can lower the head down to the earth, eventually taking the shoulders down to the earth, hands over the head, grabbing hold of opposite elbows. So here is where we start to move the knees back together, so that activation of the internal, the adductors and the inside of the thighs there. So you can stay here for a few rounds of breath, and then when you're ready, coming out the way you went back in, so head down to the earth, hands to the soles of the feet, elbows, hands pressing yourself back up, and eventually coming all the way up, bringing the knees together, dropping the hips to one side, taking the legs out in front of you and giving them a little bit of a shake. So a really nice counter for this pose is just to take a little shavasana, or you can come back to Dandasana and just give the legs a little bit of a shake, just get a little bit of movement into the knees there, and take a break in your Dandasana. So it's a good thing to practice this posture a couple of times, maybe once or twice, 2 or 3 times, just so that you can get through the movement. The second time is always going to be a little bit easier than the first. It is quite a deep opening posture for the knees, and you will feel the blood flowing back through the legs when you come up out of that posture. You don't always have to get down every time. To be honest, you need to be honest with yourselves, and you need to work with what the limitations of your physical self are on that day. Some days are diamonds and some days are dust. Some days you're down in that posture and other days you're not. So that was our Hero's Pose and Reclined Hero's Pose, Virasana, Suptavirasana. See you in the next tutorial.